here. They've lost 6 of their last 10, which is, that's huge coming down the stretch here.
Sure.
And really important to kind of know. Now, I didn't end up picking it. I do think that Texas is going to kind of be able to figure this out entering into the tournament here. But one of the big ones that I decided that I was going to end up going with is I went with Liberty over Oklahoma State. So that's going to be the 13 and the 4. So the big reason that I'm putting the Oklahoma State Cowboys in the upset conversation isn't really kind of talking about their accomplishments and what they did this year. It's really more of a show of respect for Liberty, who's really come on in the last couple of years, and they've been consistently like a huge threat as far as like a low major, and I think this is something that they could possibly get done. I'm not the world's biggest fan of Liberty overall, but I think that maybe Oklahoma State may be sitting a little bit soft and may not be able to kind of pull this one out. So heading into the tournament, Liberty does rank 7th in 3-point percentage and 12th in the 3-point attempts overall.
So it's a make-or-break kind of team. Yeah, it's a boom or bust.
Yeah, and now, I mean, Oklahoma State is a legit contender because Cunningham is such a great dynamic player, but if he's playing his best, they are. I just think that maybe Oklahoma State may be overlooking Liberty, and because Liberty can score from the outside, they have the potential to keep games close, stay in it, and have one of those great like last-second buzzer beaters. So I'm taking Liberty over Oklahoma State.
Yeah, and I like that. And if anyone who has been on the ESPN bracket, you can see their seed facts. So just taking that straight from them, at least one number 13 seed has beaten a number 4 seed in 25 of 35 years. In the past 2 tournaments, 5 of the 8 matchups were decided by single digits. Ooh, so basically what they're saying is you might want to put a 13 seed into the second round.
And I also have another 13.
Oh, would you go with 2?
Yeah, I'm going to go with 2.
Okay.
And the reason is kind of a circumstance thing for Virginia. I have Ohio beating Virginia. And that's because Virginia had to pull out of the ACC tournament. They have had an outbreak of COVID, and they haven't really been able to focus on actually being able to practice or play basketball. I think that that's going to be a huge thing for them kind of coming down the stretch here in this game. And because Virginia's defense is not up to snuff like it has been in years past, I think that could be a huge thing for them.
Yeah, and it doesn't seem like on average this year they've put up a lot of points either.
Well, that's still the same, but they're not holding people
right. That has
points.
been kind of their MO. You're right, and so a stronger defense, so you don't have to score as much. But okay, I like that pick.
And as far as
it's well thought out.
Yeah, I think that's a really good one. So, I look for Ohio to potentially have an upset there.
Okay. Some of the softer ones. Let's go over the 8 and 9s, though. Those are always the ones that people just like, I don't know what to do here, and how do I even get these right? Looking at in Oklahoma and Missouri, basically just the second round, loser for Gonzaga to beat in that round. That's what I think will really be happening. We have North Carolina against Wisconsin. Down in the Midwest, we have Loyola and Georgia Tech, LSU, and St. Bonaventure. What are we thinking there?
I went with Mizzou over Oklahoma. I went with LSU over St. Bonaventure. I went UNC over Wisconsin, and I went Loyola over Georgia Tech.
Okay, so you did like 2 8s, 2 9s?
3 8s, 2 9s.
Oh, 3 8s. Okay.
Yeah. And, these are tough matchups to pick. They're tough ones to kind of, dive into, but
always tough.
I just feel that Missouri's had a pretty solid season. Not that Oklahoma hasn't, but I'm going to go ahead and just going to take Mizzou there and going to pick them. Same with some of the other teams. Now UNC, I did pick them because of pedigree.
I would have to go with that as well.
I did not even bother researching. I was like, not UNC pedigree.
Yeah.
I feel a little bit like this. I don't feel as strongly about this, but it was several years ago when Wichita State was the number 1 seed. And the bracket committee decided to screw them. They're like, we're going to give you Kentucky in the second round. Because they put Kentucky as an 8 seed who was arguably a 3 or a 4 seed at worst. And because they had a really bad tournament that year, and a lot of injuries, they got in where they did. And Kentucky rolled all the way to the Final Four that year because they were a legit team and they were finally healthy. So it can happen. So I don't feel as strongly about that. But I got UNC for pedigree.
I like that. Well, first, actually, go over 8 9s on the. East and Midwest. Then just a little bit of your thought process in those.
I just went major conference over, minor conference again. I don't have a whole lot of theory behind my 8s and 9s sometimes. So,
okay.
I like Loyola Chicago for they played a ton of games this year. They've won a ton of games. I think they should be able to kind of have a pretty solid matchup against Georgia Tech, who was kind of a mediocre at best ACC team. So
those are the kind of matchups like why I personally picked Georgia Tech over Loyola is their top 25 matchup and just like what are they doing on an average. Same thing with then taking LSU. So rather than even just strength or their conference, just like what have they been consistently doing? Because they're likely good for that in one game here in the tournament to at least advance. Now, it doesn't mean that they're then built for going to the Final Four, but maybe. 8s can do it. Yeah. 8s have done it, 4 times?
A couple of times, yeah. We did a little bit of research.
No, they've made the Final Four 5 times, actually, with 3 Final Four wins. So pretty interesting stuff there. But I did like that you're using the term pedigree because I did happen to that's just like I gotta just pick them because it seems like those are the schools that keep winning. One of those is Syracuse.
Oh, I have Syracuse going far too.
I picked them for a couple of games at least.
In this most recent years, he's done this. He's been in the playoff games or the playing games and made it to the Sweet 16.
Yeah.
So I'm done
as a number 11 seed.
Yeah,
it can happen.
He's
Absolutely.
done it several years, very recently, where he's been undervalued.
How can you look past Kansas as a number 3? Kind of like they were up and down on top 25. I don't think they were ever out of the top 25 this year.
Early.
But you have them leaving early. And they've done that too. Kansas can do that.
I have them losing to USC.
Okay, so be careful with that one. USC, interesting. All right, so you and I would differ on that one.
Yeah.
Oregon, though. Oregon is one of those schools that I see. So, and actually, before we even just focus on one of them, it's a few 7 seed teams. Oregon, Florida, and UConn. Those are schools that we're all used to seeing in the Sweet 16, Elite 8.
I don't have any of them going past.
I would think about it. Not past the second round?
No.
That's bold.
I have Oregon losing to Iowa. I have UConn losing to Bama. And I have Florida losing their first game.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, I have Tech beating them.
Yep. Well, agree to disagree. This is why it's impossible to get a perfect bracket. But
I have Clemson beating Rutgers, but losing to Houston.
Clemson, I see that all day. They're good for the win, but Houston's going to be strong. Now, let's talk about Texas schools because we did touch on this a few episodes ago. I love Texas Tech, but they're not going far in this tournament. I don't see that. Out of all the Texas schools, looking at the ones that are going to really make it, Texas Southern, I think we talked about them. Looking at Houston, then North Texas against Purdue, I don't feel good about that one. And Texas Tech, and then UT. Texas. Shaka Smart.
Here's the one thing just about Purdue. I have Purdue winning as well, too, but they are very much made on the big men, and I think they can be beat. I don't know that North Texas is going to be able to do it, but I think that's a reason why Purdue ends up losing is they get out-hustled.
Yeah, I think they're going to get kind of an early bounce. They're not necessarily good for a Sweet 16 appearance, especially when you may have to play Villanova in the next round.
That's an upset pick. I have too.
You have Winthrop?
Yeah.
Ooh.
I got Winthrop. I got UC Santa Barbara.
Oh.
And I have... no, they lost. And Winthrop.
Okay. Look out.
Oh, and Georgetown.
Okay.
I think Georgetown's as close to a lock as possible.
I would... Georgetown does
same
look
with UC Santa Barbara. I don't think Creighton even stays in this game. They just went through a ton of suspension with their coach for being racist.
Oof.
And they pretty much protested, quote unquote. The game, he came back and just got annihilated. I think Creighton is in for
and how about by the way, this is my favorite school logo. It's like the UCSB logo.
Yeah, UC Santa Barbara.
It's like I don't know. It looked like a UFO at first, and I'm like, oh no, it's a hat, like a sombrero. It's cool, man.
I like it.
Yeah, I like it too. Anyway, they are 22-4. I think in their the way they ended the season, they're in on 18-1 run. So it's not even just like the last few games. They are incredibly good right now.
I had them as my Sweet 16.
Ooh, okay, all right. I wouldn't take them that far, but yes, they're looking solid right now. But back to the Texas schools. Texas looks good. I would take them far. Especially on their map, their road map. Now, they may meet Alabama, but the whole Yukon, Maryland, Alabama, Iona, the top and the bottom, of the Eastern Conference, when you look at the bracket, that's going to be madness, I feel like.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely, I mean, that's what the tournament is, man. It's just madness. That's why they call it March Madness.
It's very true.
Yeah. Well, let's jump into it. I mean, who do you have in your Elite Eight? What's your Elite Eight?
Well, with a couple of brackets, I need to pull up one that I have.
Well, while you pull yours up, I'm going to go over mine. So
go for it.
This is my Elite Eight. So I have Gonzaga, winning the Sweet 16, going over UC Santa Barbara. I have USC knocking off Iowa as well in the Sweet 16 to make it to the Elite Eight. I have FSU dumping out Michigan in the Sweet 16. I have Bama beating Texas. And then on the other side, I have Baylor and Purdue in the Sweet 16. I'm going to go ahead and take Purdue. I think that they can win a couple of games with those big men, but I think eventually they're going to fall short.
Ooh.
I have Ohio State beating Arkansas in the Sweet 16 there in the South. And then I have Illinois beating Tennessee, as well as Houston beating Syracuse. So my lead eight are Gonzaga, USC, FSU, Bama, Purdue, Ohio State, Illinois, and Houston.
Okay. We do naturally have some overlap because we're not just crazy. Some of those one seeds are going to be there. Gonzaga, Iowa for me. Villanova, Virginia Tech. Looks like I kept Illinois and West Virginia, Georgetown, Alabama.
Did you say Virginia Tech?
Yeah.
After you just promoted Florida?
Yeah. Oh, that's Florida? In another bracket.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Florida can definitely be a consideration. I think they've had a pretty decent year.
So you got Vatek going deep.
Yeah, pretty deep.
Okay.
Oh yeah. Well, because I like that Oral Roberts. Remember, I sent them to the second round.
Okay.
That's
your big upset. Okay.
Yeah, with Texas Tech, of course, in the Sweet 16.
Okay, of course.
Don't forget Texas Tech. I still got to show my love.
Okay, so who's your Final Four?
Final Four, I like Gonzaga, Alabama, Villanova, West Virginia. Now that, you know what?
We only have one overlap.
No, I'm shaking that up. I need Illinois in there. I got to change that. Illinois is going for sure.
Okay. So now we got two overlaps. So I have Gonzaga, I have Florida State, I have Ohio State, and Illinois. And I'm going to go ahead and take Gonzaga over Florida State, and I'm taking Illinois over OSU.
Ooh, okay. So you have Florida State going pretty far. I have
Illinois dominating OSU.
Oh, yeah.
In the Final Four again. Okay.
I think I would not be surprised because after thinking about it just last night, Illinois, I think it's taken the whole tournament.
Oh, man. See, we have overlap again. Illinois beating Gonzaga.
I think it's a safe bet. It's a safe bet.
What's your over-under on points? I know what mine is.
Over-under on points total or?
Total points.
Yeah. Okay. Like one. I'm going to go 155.
I'm 145.
Okay. I think it could definitely be a shootout. Like some NBA numbers.
I mean, that's a good pick. You know what I mean? So unless they end it right there at 150, we'll have a winner. So.
All right. Well, good luck to everyone who's making a bracket.
Yeah.
You know, because it does get crazy. Some may say it's mad. right? Little update though.